Hello, all you merry gentlemen and gentle ladies. My name is Edward, and this is day 17 of the Advent calendar. So today's, I've already started sniffing and tasting this a little bit, but as always, I'm doing this completely blind. So I'm gonna guess what it is and how it's matured and all that. So let's get into it. I do have to say, this one is really interesting to me. It's not like I tend towards extremes with my whiskey. I really like the really big smoky flavors. I really like the really big sherried flavors, especially with my Scotch. Now, my Irish I like a little differently. I like Irish for different reasons than I like Scotch. But with Scotch, I really like those big flavors, right? Now, this is actually one that isn't so extreme, but I really, really enjoy it. The first thing I got when I smelled this was icebox cookies. I don't know how common those are, but it's something my family would always make. I think it might be a German thing. I don't know, but they're not overly sweet. They're just a little bit sweet. They got nuts in them. They're kind of chocolatey, but not super chocolatey. And it reminded me a lot of that. Yeah, it's a really kind of a pleasant Christmas memory for me. Right off the bat, it kind of reminds me of like walking through a forest, like first thing in the morning when it's still cold and you got that cold smell. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? When the earth kind of smells cold and frozen, and it's just emanating off the trees and off the moss. It smells vegetal, but not like lush greenery. Just kind of like everything's been crystallized, and it smells completely different from how it does usually. Yeah. I mean, and there's sweetness there. There's still some toffee notes. There's still some vanilla notes. Oh, that's really tasty. The entrance on your mouth is very much kind of woody, that icebox cookie thing I was talking about. But it changes over time, and the finish is really good. That finish is kind of strawberry or some sort of berry, or almost blackberry, like it's a darker fruit, but it's not one of the stone fruits. And there's a hint of the phenolic about this one. I'm wondering if this might be a lightly peated one, because I am getting just the slightest little bit of kind of tannic earthiness. And it's sometimes I feel like it's the same problem I've mentioned before, where if you don't have a good balance of the phenolic and the sweet, it just kind of comes off as a weird funky note to me. Like you either got to go all the way in or all the way out. This one doesn't have that problem. This really doesn't. This one comes across really nice. I'm going to throw a drop of water in this. We're going to see what that does to it, and I'll be back in a second. Hey you guys, Future Eddie here. I have taken a little time with this one. The water, I think, really brings out those berry flavors, kind of like a puree of berries. It's pretty freaking cool. There's still that kind of tannic woodiness that I was talking about earlier, and a little bit of, it's not really smoke, it's almost like just a black pepper. Like there's just a hint of spiciness. I think it really comes together well. There's a nice kind of, like I said, an earthy, foresty quality about this one that really sits well with the sweeter flavors. Yeah, so now I think this is a little stronger. It tastes a little hotter. I'm guessing mid-50s at least. Probably a Highland, but ex-bourbon, not a sherry finish or a wine finish. I don't think. Could be wrong. Turns out yesterday's was finished in Madeira, so that's kind of cool. That was the Garden Grove, or Nectar Grove, I guess it's called for weebs. Makes sense, I couldn't find it. Anyhow, let's find out what today is. Ooh! This is Glentauchers, aged 10 years. Cask type was refill bourbon, makes sense. Region was Speyside. And, oh, this one's actually a little bit stronger than I guessed. This one is 62.9%. At least I guessed above 50. That's something. Yeah, this one was also by Secret Spirits. This was a good one. It is another Speyside. But this one has a lot of complexity to it. I really like this one a lot. I think this one really knocks a lot of those other Spacesides out of the park. So yeah, this was awesome. Anyhow, I am going to call it a day until next time, which would be day 18. You guys stay rotten.